welcome to Saints TV podcast. This is not Joycey. As you can tell, it's Jake. Joycey's out of action. He's had his wisdom teeth out. He's documented it over the weekend on his stories, sent us some pics.
Oh, yeah.
He's in full recovery mode. I think the game yesterday was probably worse than getting his 6 wisdom teeth pulled out
By a mile.
by a mile. We've got Sarah. Sarah, you're filling in for Joycey. How's it going?
Godfather, Marshy, thank you for having me. Thanks for inviting me. It's great to be here.
Yeah, it's a cool space.
Yeah.
Different space, isn't it, Marshy?
Yeah, everything's a little bit different today. It's nice. It's a good change of scenery. And yip, lads, ladies, and listeners. Yeah, I felt crook watching yesterday. Let's
I was
just
gonna
jump straight
say,
into it because
let's just get straight into it. I
How can
think,
you
yeah.
not? Is it? I said to my partner yesterday, I've never come off a win that's felt like a loss in recent memory like that.
Yeah.
The North game? Was that worse?
Oh.
North was close.
Close.
I
'Cause
think
we-
that was definitely worse than the North game.
Yeah.
Because North, they're not flash, but they haven't reached West Coast levels.
No,
Yeah, and they didn't lead by 31 points.
no.
And the
Any point.
fact that they had their substitute, he wasn't even, he was just there to be named. He wasn't there to be
I know.
played. So
Did he
they
kick two?
literally had no one else.
Yeah.
Tim Kelly gets injured before the game, and Luke Edwards, I'm not sure who he is, but Tim Kelly, I know. They had no one. And, it reeks of a bit of a shit attitude. Rocking up, thinking you got the job done. Whereas, I don't know. You're pretty bubbly about it, Jake.
No, I'm
How
not-
are you bubbly?
Well, I'm just kind of saw it as a tale of two halves. Like,
Yeah.
the first half was really bad, and I said it in my review that the most disappointing thing was the attitude at the start.
Yeah.
I said during the week that we obviously know West Coast are going to come out with a bit of heat.
No doubt.
Like, they've had the worst week in their history. They've backed the coach in. The senior boys all embarrassed after last week. Back on their home deck in front of a crowd that turned up, to be frank. I don't know what the crowd numbers were in the end, but they turned up. They were vocal.
Yeah.
It was on us to stamp the game, put our stamp on the game early.
Yeah.
And first 15 seconds, Owens kicks a goal. I'm like, oh, okay. Maybe we will do it. Maybe we'll just come out of the blocks and it'll be an easy day. But then we went 15 minutes without scoring again.
Yep.
And we just settled and chipped it around and no urgency.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always a worry, I think, when you get the perception that you're sort of disrespecting your opponent
Yeah.
a little bit. And, you know, the heat was always going to be on West Coast this week. Even, I'm pretty sure there was a back page in the paper in WA that the fans were planning to boycott even the first
Yeah,
term,
they
just
weren't
to
gonna
sort
turn
of,
up.
they're not happy. And look, I mean, there's thousands, tens of thousands of them in WA, you know, so big statement from big club. But yeah, I just sort of got the sense that we didn't really respect the fact that they were not going to just come out and fire, but come out and play for a bit of pride.
Yeah.
And yeah, it sort of looked really lackadaisical from after Machito's goal. Just, you know, I thought the same thing, Jake. I was like, oh, here we go. You know, we should sort of roll on it and get a good run on. But you're right about the tale of two halves. On the face of it, you go, we were 31 points down before halftime. We came back and had a solid win. But we're 31 points down against a waffle side,
Yeah,
let's be
yeah.
honest.
100%. And yeah, so it was the fans that were meant to boycott the first quarter, not the Saints.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was
Fair
just
call, fair call.
So you're just watching that, and I don't know. I liked Ross Lyon's press conference afterwards, where you know he pointed out a few things where 100%. At least now the coach is seeing that he's not under any illusions. Our midfield's spluttering, yeah, obviously, and he himself doesn't understand why there is a lack of system and the process in how we that first half. He couldn't explain it, whether it's like a mental thing or if it's something on the track. And the disappointed father.
I was going to say, he said he's
I like
disappointed
that.
father.
It's a
That's
good
a
analogy,
good line.
that. Yeah.
I think we all felt, disappointed at the end of the day, didn't we?
Yeah.
Really did.
After that result, because percentage, like, it's a nice to have, but when you're in the chase for potentially top 4 and you see their percentages upwards of 120, it might be really, really important, especially if we drop a few games and drop to that 8th place with teams like Freo or Sydney or Geelong chasing us. Their percentages are, I think, above us. Geelong's definitely is.
Definitely.
Well, that's
Yeah.
right.
That's really
For the
important.
last 10 years, we don't cash in on percentage. And, for fans, we can be arrogant because we've seen what West Coast are running out. And, we can be cocky to say, anything less than 30 points or probably more is considered a bit of a fail here because, yeah, you're right. The last, I don't know, we've lost out on finals because of percentage so many times and
Yeah.
recent memory. At least get one little
Well,
filler because we kind of had that same attitude against North. Oh, beauty, we'll get a little bit of a percentage here and we're scrapping for it.
Mm.
But um, I
I
don't
just
know.
wanted to I didn't even care about the margin. I wanted to kick 100 points.
Yep.
I wanted to kick over 17 goals. I wanted to
Yeah.
see a high scoring game, whether we won by 10 goals or not,
Yeah.
because we haven't kicked 100 points in over 10 weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good point.
And you're playing Melbourne's, you're going to be playing the Geelong soon, Brisbane's. They like at Collingwood, you look at the way they kick goals at
Yeah.
ease. What was the passage in the first, was it the first quarter where Mason Wood got it in the pocket and he tried to center it or something?
Yep.
Mm.
That was the first term, wasn't it? It was
Yeah.
like four Saners running into an open goal, and we didn't know how to finish the job.
Yeah. Was that the one where Kingy tried to chip it
Yeah, he tried to
across,
dribble
like
it or
dribble it,
something.
but like,
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah,
I'd-
that's
yeah,
And I'm like, Collingwood would get that job done in like 2 handballs and a goal.
no doubt.
And we're like pissing around with it, then and then Wood tries to center it instead of just snapping it on his preferred left. And I'm like, what is going on?
And it sort of screams of a lack of confidence to me at the
Yeah.
minute, because I don't know how you guys have seen it, but for the last 4 or 5 weeks, it seems to be that kick inside 50
Hmm.
where we fall down. It's like our process, our defense has been solid, our midfield spluttering, but are able to deliver. It's that kick inside 50, and that example you say, Jakey, with Kingy. It's like he didn't want the responsibility, or he almost was thinking, "What do I do? Do I have a shot? Do I try and centre it?" I watched a little bit of Collingwood on the weekend.
Yeah.
Just when I had a look at the margin, and I think, they're belting Gold Coast. That's what I wanted to see from us on the weekend. If we are against an inferior opposition,
Yeah.
don't make it about them. Let's make it about us. I want us to come off
Spot
the training track. I want us to come off the field and say that was a Saints footy game,
Yeah.
and it's time against that inferior opposition to really hone in on what we do and what we do well, get back to that DNA sort of stuff. And I think the result would have looked after itself if we'd done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, really well said because, this game, I think a lot of us saw it coming in as a circuit breaker
Yep.
to get that mojo that we seem
Mhm.
to have lost and hone some things and just kick a score, like get some things moving. But I don't know, we kind of went backwards, but there was a few positives, obviously, but
Yeah. We'll get into those.
Yeah.
yeah,
We
sorry,
can shift.
I
Was
got a
that
bit
was
excited.
that was
I got
that
excited.
everything that kind of bugged you about yesterday?
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Anything else that we're missing? The back line? What do
I
you
think the
of the
body
backs?
language was pretty ordinary.
Yeah.
Body language, yep.
And, there was a few blokes that just seemed to be playing for themselves. And I think that's the biggest problem with what we've got going on at the moment is that we've lost a bit of confidence. We're not backing our team structure in. And that Kingy one, that's a perfect example
Yep.
because he's running in. He's got Higgins in front of him. That give him the handball. But
Yep.
instead of doing that, he's just... Yeah, he's dribbled it from 45 out on an angle. Like, that's just
Yeah.
rude.
That's, yeah.
And there was just a few other examples in the game where even late when Hilly got tackled and hurt his knee, he was in acres of space, but there's no chat. There's someone in front of him. They're not chatting. They're sort of like, yeah, give me the ball, but not sort of being aware of, I think it was Oscar Allen maybe.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was ordinary, but also Hilly, again, I think it might have been he's going to deliver it in, and he's calling for blokes to come at him.
Yeah.
Oh, is that when they smothered it?
It-
Because he did that earlier in the game where he's calling up for a lead.
yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right, and but yeah. Anyways, it didn't work out well for us, and he's cracked the shits, and you never see Hilly like he's the most bubbly, personality on our team, really irrespective of how we're going. But for him to be, a bit fed up says a little bit. To me.
Yeah.
Someone sent me a clip today, and to be fair, Dougal Howard I think was second ranked player on the ground or
I
something.
thought he had a
Yeah.
good game.
He had a
some
good game.
Dukes
Yeah.
moments.
He had a
but-
good game. I mean, talking about players that are getting angry, I'm not picking out Dukes, obviously,
Yeah.
but this is what I was sent.
Yep.
And it was, I think, in the third quarter where he took that nice mark over the pack.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I haven't seen him do that for a while. He clunked it. Beautiful.
Yeah.
And then he goes to kick inboard and then he does his little run around in a circle.
Yep.
He
Yep.
was.
Like for no reason. And then kicks it down the line. Turnover, they get a goal from it because we give away a free kick.
Yeah.
Classic.
But Seb, who was in the middle of the ground, went off at him.
Oh,
Took his
okay.
mouth guard out and was just yelling at him when they conceded the free kick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
And I'm like, is that a good, is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I mean, it's good to see a leader like Seb go, that's bullshit. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Dukes is also a leader
Leader.
too.
Yeah.
So you're having two senior boys go at it a little bit.
Yeah.
Is that a good sign?
Sort of I'm in two minds about it because, I think the thing that's lacking at the minute, maybe that Ross Lyon's looking for, is that cohesion.
Yeah.
The team play rather than the individual play. Like you mentioned body language before, you see other sides when, regardless of who scores the goal, everyone like claps or gets
Yeah.
around one another and
Yeah.
that sort of thing. Yeah, and I think that's sort of missing. I don't mind that on the field a little bit, to have leaders or any player sort of spit the dummy and sort of set high standards and say, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I agree. It's like, well, you cop it when it's Seb Ross spraying, I don't know,
Yeah.
Filippo or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dukes, I don't know. Dukes has had a roller coaster of a month.
It was good to see him pick it
really.
up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, especially with Battle going down.
No
And
doubt.
too,
I
yeah.
think Dukes really stood up, and he was under a bit of heat. And Oscar Allen, like, he's a very good
He's
player.
a very good
Oh,
player.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, he's
Between
kicked-
Allen and Darling, I mean,
Yeah.
they're big boys. So
100%.
yeah.
Yeah. Talking about good, obviously, Brad Crouch
Yeah.
played, I think, the equal eighth most tackles in a game,
Yep.
and only second all-time Saint behind Jack Steele, I think.
Yeah, one tackle
yeah.
behind Steely's.
17,
Right.
along with, what was it, 36 disposals or
Yeah.
something. He'll get Saint of the round. I'm sure
Sure.
that's
Oh, yeah.
announced, but
Yeah, we're getting flogged without Crouchy.
that
No.
like that
Yep.
midfield, it's a bit of a worry. Like early, we played Windy through there. We had Filippo through there. And that, to me, in the first quarter was already a sign, we're taking this a bit lightly. Because if we're playing Melbourne, we're not putting Filippo and Windy in the middle.
No.
Like Windy might, but
Yeah.
Filippo was
Phil,
in
no
there
way.
a lot
Nah.
early.
Yeah.
But then we shifted it in the second half.
Yep.
Why couldn't we do what we did in the third straight off the bat in the first? What does
That's
that come
it,
down to?
yeah. That's sort of what Sarah was saying before. It sort of screams a little bit of just not respecting the opposition, but just coming in to be, we were the big boys yesterday, and we definitely didn't play anywhere near to that kind of level. But yeah, you start with your best sort of formations. But I suppose Ross was just saying that they're sputtering, so that's probably him reacting to the sputtering to just try different combinations. But I don't know.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, you
it's
talked about it,
ordinary.
that, or maybe Marshy, I can't remember who, but about playing as a team and then playing as individuals.
Yeah.
And I thought in the first half we played as individuals.
Yeah.
The third quarter, like we were running, we were
Yeah.
sharing the ball. It was more handball over the top and drawing the man.
hmm
And when you're playing West Coast, like in the first half, it was 1-on-1 across the ground. That negates any advantage you have as a team.
Yeah.
Because every contest is you versus your man,
Yeah.
right? So all West Coast are thinking is great. It's not a team game now. I just need to beat my man, and then my teammate needs to beat his man, and we're on a run.
Yep.
And that happened more times than not. In the third quarter, you go back to playing as a team, sharing the ball around. Their zone is pulled apart a little bit, and we scored goals pretty easily. Like within the first 10 minutes, the margin was cut to like 4 points.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was 7 goals in that third quarter, wasn't it?
7
And yeah,
goals.
something like that in total.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's for me in the main difference between the first half and especially the third quarter was centre clearance.
Yeah.
We seemed to be sort of chasing tail out of the centre a lot in that first half. And yeah, I think that speaks volumes to not having our best mids in at the contest. You've got to win the ball out of the middle if you're going to give your forwards a really solid opportunity,
Yeah.
which sort of lends back to, I suppose, just something I've observed the last few weeks about that bomb lobbing ball
Yeah.
in there. It drives me nuts as a spectator, because, you're not giving your forwards the best opportunity. But yeah, I think that was the big change I saw, really hunting the ball first to the ball, led of course by Crouch. But even, when Sinclair went into the midfield, I was like,
Big
right,
change.
now we're going to see a bit of a change, a bit more grunt and
Yeah.
grit. And sort of turn the tide for us, really.
Rowe was good too.
Yeah.
But
Nice,
I'm
man.
kind of, their ruckman was all right.
Yeah.
He was a bit of a nobody, to be fair.
Mhm.
What's his name? Richards, was it? Or Edwards or something?
Williams?
Was it Bailey Williams?
Bailey
Yeah.
Williams, sorry.
Yeah.
Don't know why I had those two names.
That's all
But like I've noticed a trend where Rowe will have a big game, but the other ruckman tends to then also have a big game.
Yeah.
There's not many games where Rowe's clearly the best ruckman on the ground. Like Nankervis had probably a big game against him last week. Probably the
I
same. Do you
reckon. I
reckon?
reckon Rose got a little bit sort of like say, like a good midfielder. Like, you're at say Windy
Yeah,
or just a good tagger, but you're on the opposition's best midfield, and that they bring you into the game. I feel
yeah,
like
okay,
Marshall kind of does that for the opposition ruck, where Marshall's a gun, we know that,
Yeah.
and the opposition would too. So I guess it just they need to step up a little bit, but I don't think he's a hard man to follow around the ground. He just does it all game.
Yeah.
yeah,
So I think, you know, inadvertently keeps the opposition ruckman
in the
in the
game.
game,
Yeah.
if
Yeah,
that makes sense.
yeah,
And we all know that the actual hit out side of things isn't Marshall's strongest suit,
Yeah.
particularly against like the taller ruckman in the comp, which, Marshall's not the biggest ruckman, but
no. And I mean,
uh,
he doesn't get that opportunity during the game as much as maybe recent years to rest forward.
Yeah.
I still feel like that's a massive thing for us
yeah,
is to trial a Campbell at some point, or
Yeah.
even Max Heath, who actually played another really good game at Sandy.
Yeah.
yeah,
Because this week we'll talk about it later, but Gorn Grundy, like Rower
Yep.
on his own,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like there was an opportunity in this game to play Campbell.
Yeah. Yeah. And just see what they're about. I mean, it's a I know it was mentioned on the podcast a couple of weeks ago that Ross Lyon is a role player. He loves role
yeah,
players. And yes, he's sort of trying to figure out, who plays what role. But yeah, I mean, it's a delicate balance, isn't it? We're still pushing for finals, but also trying to figure out who's in the best 22. But yeah, I'm with you, Jake. I think this is a massive ruck battle coming
mm,
up. Rowe, not the tallest ruckman, really aerobically capable, which is
Mm.
great, and one of his real strengths, especially his overhead mark. He took a ripper of
oh
a
yeah,
Yeah.
mark yesterday, going back with the flight. It was beautiful. But yeah, I'd like to see him with some support because I don't want Machado in there.
Well, I
no,
was
definitely
going to
not,
say that was a bit of
definitely
a
not.
segue to
Yeah.
Machito because he's been the one in the ruck
Yeah,
for the
Yeah.
most part. And Kane was talking about that, was it last week?
yeah,
Which to me, like, he's been really good in the ruck. So if you ask Mo Sanders, I don't think we have that much of a problem
Oh
with
no,
him pinch hitting.
no,
But yesterday to see him kick 4,
yeah.
and how clean he was.
yeah,
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
he's
when every
fantastic.
other player was stuffing arm, fumbling, he would just get it, dodge a blow, kick it on his left, no fuss, and just get the job done.
Yeah, and he's which team has a 19-year-old as your barometer for
Yeah.
all things just team sports? Because that goal he kicked and it was good by King, I thought, when he just sort of kept tapping it along, and
yep,
then Owens just works his way to the front, gets the
Mm.
hands to Caminiti, gets it back, and just slots it. Like,
yeah,
they're team lifters, and yeah, you kind of don't want that wasted as that secondary ruck. But I reckon sort of one of the big issues why our midfield isn't firing is that for the last 3 years, coupled with a completely new system under Ross and Co., but we were, our game plan was built around Paddy Ryder
yeah,
and having Marshall pinch hit, rest forward, like you're saying. And I don't think we've really gotten used to the new way of
Yeah.
things. If yeah, that makes sense.
yeah. Well, Paddy's such a physical ruckman. That
Yeah.
was his really his strength with Rowe with that aerobic capacity. I suppose Gorn and Grundy are the perfect combination, aren't they? They're
Yeah.
big, they're burly, but also can get up and down the ground. So
Oh,
yeah,
poor Rory. He's got his work cut out for him this week.
Just put him in the ice baths all week, eh?
that's it.
Don't leave
Don't
him, mate, till
move.
Friday afternoon. Put him on
Yeah.
ice.
Yeah.
Other positives to come from the game. I mean, did we think? I thought that Jade Gresham was better. He kicked a goal at 21.
Yeah.
Still probably not at his absolute best,
No.
but I still feel like he contributed
He
pretty
toiled
well.
He
Yeah.
toiled well. And it's just the finishing side of
Mm.
things that, earlier in his career, especially the ones that are on the run, you bank him to kick it. I love that he kicked a set shot for once.
Yep.
Yeah, that was
Yep.
nice,
That was
wasn't it?
really
Big
solid.
shock.
Yeah. And so that was good, but he's not Robinson Caruso here, but just so many times where we get the ball in a bit of space, but we just rush it.
Yep.
We just
Yeah.
shit ourselves and just put it on the boot
Yep.
to no one's advantage, and it doesn't come back looking good for that. But yeah, he played well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Butler,
Butler, what did he kick 2, didn't he?
I
He
think
was pretty
yeah.
opportunistic.
Yeah.
Didn't have a
So
lot of the ball, but I mean that's another game where he's kicked multiple goals,
Yep.
which is there's quite a few this year, and
Yeah.
that's literally his job, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just
No,
kick 2 a
definitely.
week, and that's a small
No
forward's
doubt.
job done.
I really like Mateus Filippo. I've got stars in my eyes looking at that kid for the next decade. Just it wasn't anything flashy. It wasn't anything that you'd write home about. But there were some moments where he threw his body on the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the contest, especially when he was in the middle. I just thought again for a young kid who's 18 and built like a rake at the minute. Good signs. Yeah.
Definitely.
And he's not like getting hit and then sitting on the ground hurt. He
No.
just gets back up,
Yep.
and it's like if he's copping hits already and taking them, that's not bad for an 18-year-old.
Yeah. That's yeah.
Definitely.
I liked that.
And he's not the only young kid that's doing that. Obviously, Machedo's doing it. Caminiti as well was better.
Yep.
I thought
Yeah,
he
I
kicked
liked
two
his
and,
game.
Yeah.
set up
I
a
love
couple.
this move where he got the mark in the goal square, and he was just
Just holding it out.
he was just
It's like
simmering
he's holding
it.
the Premiership Cup. It's like, we've done it, boys. We've done
He was
it.
like, make way, guys.
We're hitting the front
Yeah.
against the Eagles. We're doing it. Big things. Big
coming home.
things. Yeah.
Just on Machedo, is he a smoky for the Rising
I
Star?
don't think he's a smoky
Well,
anymore.
like yeah,
Sean's
like
a
the
fake.
smoke is clearing out. But
yeah.
Yeah.
you're right. Like if you look at his season, I mean, obviously there's Ashcroft and there's Sheasel.
Sheasel, yeah.
I just think if you look at his season and what he's actually done on the field, don't get me wrong, Sheasel racks it up every week, and Ashcroft is a very flashy player, even though he looks like. Do you ever think he looks like the prince from Shrek 2? Like with the hair.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that you
actually
mentioned
does.
it. Yeah, that's
Big
a fair,
time.
That's a fair call.
It's a private school haircut.
Isn't
if
there
I've ever
another
seen
footballer that looks like Lord Farquaad?
It's Hunter.
Is that Hunter Clark?
it with the haircut. But yeah, his form this year I think warrants to be right up there in the conversation. Like you
Yeah.
said, Jake, he's 19 and can be the barometer. Kicks 4, yes, okay, against West Coast, but yeah,
Yeah.
he's
But I
something
mean,
special.
in the context of the game, that's match winning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, sure, if we win by like Sydney, if we're kicking 30 goals, he's kicked 4. On the surface, not great, but
Yep.
in a game where it's an 8-point difference,
Yep.
4 goals is dime a dozen. It's very important.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He's the work that he's doing is unparalleled to what the other fellas are doing. Like
No doubt.
Ashcroft's getting the easy ride because he's in one of the best mids in the comp.
Yep.
And obviously he's a gun player, and Sheasel's sort of playing off the back line, or so also a gun. But Machedo, he's everywhere.
Yep.
Or
And-
I'm thinking about like Brownlow votes. Like Machedo will get some.
No doubt.
Oh yeah,
Would he get more Brownlow votes than Ashcroft and Sheasel?
easy.
Yeah, I think so.
I
Easy?
reckon easy, just because.
Because he's had a few close to best ons.
Yeah.
So
And he's they're getting lots of the pill, but Machedo's still getting quite a few touches for essentially a centre half forward.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's kind of the role that he's been playing.
The only
So-
thing that works against him is that the Brownlow's a midfielders award,
Yeah,
isn't it?
that- yeah, very
so
true.
like,
love big numbers.
Yeah, so that, but all things being equal, he should factor.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
He'll be
Yeah.
close come the end of the year.
Jason Blake just spitting, being like first year getting Brownlow votes.
Yeah, how many years did it take Blakey?
About 800.
8.
Yeah.
Just a slight exaggeration. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Anything else we want to discuss about that game? I personally just want to make one point that West Coast's pressure gauge was 220, pretty much average, which
they
is like
turned up.
crazy.
They played
Yep.
they played really
They
well.
did.
They played like a unified team, and good on them. Like
Yeah.
that's if you're a West Coast fan, you're watching that game, you're chuffed.
Yep.
You're like, if we can do that with not one other player available, that's
Well,
not bad.
We
Yeah.
did that against Geelong when Jack Stephen kicked that winner out the back.
Yeah.
We were bottom.
Yep.
They were top. I don't know what the odds were, but we won that game. Like, it happens.
Was that
Like,
when Gresham did the step?
I think
Yeah,
so.
yeah, that's when he got the Rising Star
Yeah.
nom.
Yeah, true. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that was such a
Um,
good game.
Yeah, that was a good game. That's when a classic Minchington kicks 3 or something. Like he did every time he played Geelong.
Classic. Well, yeah, I think, when you're in a position like West Coast, and unfortunately we've been there more often than like we'd
Yeah.
like to admit, but yeah, there are those matches where you can just, throw caution to the wind and say, well, let's go. What have we got to lose? And yeah, I think all credit to West Coast. If you hadn't watched the game, you'd look at the scoreline and be like, and we still are, but yeah, they definitely rocked up to play. They weren't slouching yesterday.
they
that's
laid
for sure.
89 tackles, 220 pressure gauge average. That's more heat than Collingwood brought us.
Yeah.
Like on the surface,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
that's a lot of heat.
Yeah.
It's a lot
Definitely.
of pressure. So good on them, but we got through it, and that's the most important thing.
Yep.
Only 5% of teams come back from 30 or more points down,
Yeah,
and we were in that 5%.
Let's see, got the
It-
4 points. So.
Yeah.
That's right. So, like in the cold light of day, we've won the game. We've come back from 30 points, and we went through a lot more adversary. Is that the word?
Adversity?
Adversity. That's
Yeah.
it. A lot more adversity than we would have liked, but that's really going to hold us in good stead
Yeah.
going forward because, really challenged. And I love that Ross said at halftime that, do you really want to waste 9 months of hard work?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, if we had to come out and just maintain that first half, yeah, that's catastrophic,
Yeah.
really. But we didn't. We turned up and a few boys lifted. I thought Hilly's game was good.
Yeah.
Very good
Very
again.
good.
His last month,
Yeah.
excellent.
Yeah, he's just one that goes all day and still tries to hit his targets and because we're really, what did Ross say? We're bold and stupid a bit with with our ball movement, and that's pretty on point. And yeah, I think we're a little bit more aggressive and smarter, and the likes of Hilly, Nasiah, really lifted to
Yeah.
get things moving.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, I reckon we'll chuck it to the fans. We'll get into some Jakey's junk mail. What do you
Yeah.
reckon?
Nice.
I'd love to.
Let's do it.
Jakey's junk mail. Jakey's junk mail. Jakey's junk mail. Jakey's junk mail.
All right. This one's from Luke. Are we being overcoached? Early on in the season, it was system and instinct. Now it seems to be confusion and panic backed up by poor skills. Overcoached?
Oh, we're so coachable, apparently.
Yeah, pretty much from when he said that, we've not been very good.
No.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard, really, isn't it? Because if there's nothing really that's changed much behind the scenes, and Ross Lyon himself's going, I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I don't know. It seemed clear in the first half of the season. It seemed crystal clear, but that's a good question.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. What was the question again?
Are we being overcoached?
Overcoached. Yeah, there could be that, but I think because I think it might have been Mason Wood after one of our games. I think it might have been after the Essendon game where
Yep.
obviously we played well, and he just said our system is really simple. It's built around running and being accountable, and if we're just either not buying in or we're just not understanding apparently a simple game plan, then that is a bit of a worry.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's also obviously changing systems from rats.
Yep.
You know, as much as we want to just, improve overnight, it's not going to happen.
No.
Like, there's a lot of
We
players
kind of
that
did. We kind of did, and that's
But
why I
I
think
mean,
if saying it like we're having this conversation, we're a little bit flat or just a bit mystified about what's going on, is because we demonstrated for the first 7 or 8 weeks that we have essentially changed overnight, but we're reverting back to seemingly instilled or ingrained behaviours on the footy field.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I heard Rui say in an interview, it was a little while ago now, but like pressure takes no skill.
Yeah,
It just takes effort. Yeah. And Ross said all over the summer and all at the start of the year, this is a running side and that sort of thing. And look, from my nuffy position sitting over the fence, it's a simple equation, isn't it?
yeah,
It's run, it's chase, and support your teammate.
Yeah.
Like run in waves, hit up a teammate.
yeah.
It seems simple, but like I said, I'm not in the thick of it. I don't know. But yeah, there's obviously some confusion going on there. Maybe it is overcoaching. Maybe
Yeah.
it is trying to, really get to the bottom of what players are capable of. And I don't know.
We'll find out on Saturday. night.
That's it. We'll soon find out.
Tim, what was the worst you thought about the St Kilda future late in the first half today or yesterday? My son and I had the license being handed in and sent to Tassie. Had we lost, I may have stood by that, and I'm a 40-year member. So, I don't know about that.
I was thinking about what illness I could come up with so I didn't have to
Didn't
come
have
in
to go to
today.
yeah, I know. No review tonight, Saners.
Go to some dark places, don't you?
Oh, you
Yeah.
do. And, I don't know. That's a great question because I don't know. Where were you going?
Nowhere good. No, my fear about St Kilda always is when we become an irrelevant team, and my fear honestly yesterday was that the commentary is just going to be St Kilda same old, same old. They did this under Ratton, they're going to do it under Lyon. They're no good, no chance.
Yeah.
Forget about them.
Yep.
And that could potentially be it for the season. My biggest fear was just watching the second half of the season like a stone in a swimming pool, just
Yeah.
straight to the bottom, not straight to the bottom, but out of the 8. And
Yeah.
then, the commentary is just told you so,
Yeah.
same old St Kilda, forget it.
And that's the thing, like I'll add to that, is that although, yeah, we didn't get the win that we expected yesterday, we are relevant.
Yeah.
We are 5th.
Yes.
Yeah.
Percentage out of the top 4. Enjoy it. Like, on the surface, there's no way we would have predicted to be in this position in
No.
round 17.
No, that's
so
right.
I think we're being a bit picky. I know that we should have been better yesterday. But what do you take? Yesterday, just getting over the line against them and being 5th?
Yeah.
Or beating them by 200 points and being 9th? Like, I know which one I'm picking every day of the week.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
let's just get
That's
behind the
fair.
boys. We need to just keep going until we know that we can't go anymore.
That's
Yeah.
right. And one of the big pluses is that we've officially broken last year's hoodoo.
Yeah.
We're now
Yeah.
no longer mirroring last season.
Well, our last 3 interstate, we've won 2
Well,
on top of that.
Yeah, right.
that's
Yeah,
pretty
that's right,
tasty.
yeah.
So so we're 9 wins now.
9 and 6.
9 and 6. So we're not last year, because that was my worry.
Yeah.
Was that this is the same as last year, exactly the same.
Yep.
But no, Saints footy, baby.
Ben says, why do we always seem to have issues with opposition intercept defenders? Sicily, Andrews, now Barras, who had a day out. I think he had 14 or 15 marks.
Yep.
And the list goes on. Why haven't we learnt from our previous mistakes?
I think it's changing season form, isn't it? Because, what round was it we came up against Collingwood? Round 4?
Round 5.
Yeah, round 5. Oh, that's right, over in Adelaide.
Yeah.
So, like, Darcy Moore, arguably the best defender in the competition, arguably one of the best defenders in the competition. I mean, he didn't chop us apart in that match. We lost to Collingwood by 7 points, and they're a really solidly stacked defence.
Without Kingy.
Exactly right, yeah, without Kingy. So, it's something's shifted. We've shown that we're capable of doing it. And against pretty solid defensive sides, even in the first half of the year, when we were playing teams like Essendon, solid defensive side, it's possible. But it's the shift, that elusive shift
It's-
has happened again. Yeah.
It's since King has come back, it's that we've been seduced into bombing it long.
Yeah.
It's pure and simple. The players, they see Kingy, they're like, let's get the ball to him, let's get it deep, and it just doesn't work.
No.
Like, it might work 1 out of 10 times.
He's going to be managed this week then, is he?
No, he's just going to get up. Like in the second half, he's going to get up and he's going to be marking the ball on the wing.
Yep.
Like, he looked so good once he got out of the forward line, because he needs to be the centre half forward. Is I guess what I'm trying to say is, if we removed him from being that deep full forward, I think we would be less inclined to just kick and hope and allow their intercept defenders just to have an absolute field day.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it draws them out too, doesn't it? Like, if he's
Oh,
higher up the
absolutely it
ground,
does.
like May and Lever, one of them's going to have to be out of that 50 because
Yeah.
they work so well.
Absolutely shudder to think
Yeah, like,
how many intercept marks May and Lever are going to
well,
get.
that's
this
why I
week.
want Rowe down there more.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it in the preview for that, but that's
Yeah.
why I want Campbell in for that reason.
Mhm.
This one's from Saint Mickey B. At Gehrig's Stare. That's their handle on Twitter. So
Oh,
That's
Mickey
fantastic.
B.
Decent.
There's some pretty fresh names there.
yeah. To me, this feels like 2007. Back then, fans were frustrated, and this is when Ross got the unfair reputation of having a boring game plan. We were hesitant and indecisive with the ball in hand. In hindsight, it was the Ross game plan betting in. Do you think it's the same? I guess we talked about that already. But I mean, I do see it as 07. People forget that, we didn't make finals in Ross's first year.
No.
And I feel like we forget about some of the really bad losses that we had under Ross early, because social media, like Saints TV wasn't a thing. There wasn't much, like Twitter wasn't a huge thing back then.
No.
We didn't have a place to go and
We're still grieving
complain.
over the 04 and 05.
Yeah,
Yep.
but
And then 2006, the writing was on the wall. We're just like,
Yeah.
we're just no good anymore.
yeah, and then we've refreshed, missed finals, and then 08 prelim, 09 grand final, 10 2 grand finals, 11 finals again.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
I think, it's not many coaches that come in and hit their straps straight away. I really like that we've brought Ross Lyon in when we're really starting to refresh the younger age of our list, because you've seen how he's been able to develop players over his time. As doom and gloom as I know I've been today,
Yep.
it's not though, really, is it?
It's
not.
It's really not. And I think, if this is that period of transition and we're 5th after
True.
16 rounds,
exactly.
then bring it on. If it's, Rossi just getting the lay of the land for 12 months and, keeping us afloat while doing that, then then fantastic. You
Yeah.
know, there's a trade period to come. There's another pre-season to come under Rossi's style. Not to mention the assistants that we've got as well. You know, and how
Mm.
they're gelling as well. So yeah, this could be, you know, the year before we really start to
Yeah.
kick it up a notch.
And he
Yeah.
came in after the trade window, so he kind of missed
Yeah.
Oh,
anything
definitely.
there. Which leads us to our next question from Joel. Who do you think is on the way out next year, and what do we need to bring in?
Yeah.
Is Billings on? Like Billings, I thought was definitely a lock to play this week.
We re-signed Billings at the end of last year, didn't we? For until like
Yeah,
2026 or something, didn't
And he
we?
had a
Which
big
Yeah.
game last week.
surprised
I
me.
thought it would have been a good ease in sort of game for
Yeah.
JB.
I think I'd like to think that we didn't play Billings because we didn't feel like we needed him. You
Yep.
know, we're playing
Yeah.
West Coast, and they like just the travel requirements. So his body has been pretty average for a while, and I think that was kind of a way to manage him a little bit more.
Yep.
But yeah, I think he definitely comes. He has to come in this week because there are a few blokes. I think Burns has really petered out a bit.
Yeah.
He needs to go back, and I can see why Ross is persisting with him because he's shown plenty this year to
Yep.
suggest that there is a place for him in our list going forward. But I think that it's time for him to go back to Sandy and dominate down there.
Yeah,
So
get some
No
confidence.
doubt.
I reckon he would. I'd be really keen to see how he goes down to Sandy. I think he'd really impose himself, but
Yep.
I don't know.
And I think Bartel's on the injury list now with DMAC again.
Yeah.
So Sandy
Oh.
probably are looking for like a Burnsy to come in
No
because
doubt.
they can't play Bartel now.
Yeah.
He's been
Jonesy was
unlucky,
excellent.
Bartel, hasn't he? You know,
Oh,
just
big
his
time.
body just so cruel.
Yeah, every
Yeah.
time he's right on the precipice
Yep.
of getting selected, he just comes up with another shit injury.
Yeah.
It's just really unfortunate, and same with DMAC. So
That's the question though about Billings. Would
Mm.
you trade him?
I mean, it's hard to have any sort of value when he hasn't played AFL level.
100%.
You know, that's the
Yeah.
only downside. Is like at least with Gresh, he's played almost every game this
Yep.
year, so you've got a good sample size to say what the compensation could be.
No doubt.
JB, you've got no idea.
No,
Yeah.
and that could potentially come and hurt us.
Yeah.
In terms of who we get in, who we're looking to get in.
yeah,
Just a
we,
tall
we need
defender.
an explosive mid. I think
And
Ross
that,
is
yeah.
really keen on that.
Yep.
He's made reference to that a few times after presses, particularly after like disappointing games.
Yeah.
So yeah, whoever that might be, we'll see. But Ruck, I know we need everyone. I think Ross.
It's just a
you know,
gradual
one
top
one
up
of
in
every
every
line.
position,
I
isn't
think
it?
that's what he's kind of
Yeah.
got,
Yeah.
intimated. But
Yeah.
Sam's wondering to solve our midfield worries, could Butler go through there a little bit with his explosiveness? He's good by foot, especially that short 15-meter kick. Brings that tackle pressure as well. Is that something we could do?
it's not a
Yeah,
bad
don't
shout.
mind
in there.
it. Don't
Yeah.
mind it. I think
'Cause-
if we could sort our act out in the forward line,
Yeah.
because, you know, you're saying before about bombing it long to King because he's tall. Forgetting Kamanides a mountain
Yeah.
as well. Like, we've got options. If we're able to sort it out down forward, then yeah, I like it.
Mm.
No, I don't think it's about it because then you can just rotate him and Gresh. Put
Yeah.
Gresh deep,
Well,
put him in
that's
the
it.
middle.
Like you look at all the other teams like Brisbane and I don't know, just off the top of my head, but it seems like so many other teams have like the half forwards can go in the midfield.
Yeah.
And at the moment, it seems like we can only have Gresh is the only one that can do that. Like
Yeah.
Higgins tried at early days, and even Billings, like Ross has come out and said he hasn't even seen him play yet under in a Saints top under his tutelage. He's not a mid, he's a forward.
Yeah.
So to try, we got Sinclair coming from the back line to the midfield. I think we need one of the forwards that isn't Jade Gresham to chip in as well, and Butler could be the man.
Could
Yeah.
be.
Good
I don't
back
mind
that.
it.
This one's from Stu. He's insisted that I ask this. If the Saints TV crew and the Unplugged crew met randomly in the street, would you fight each other like the news crews in Anchorman?
Anchorman.
It's the Channel 4 news team.
Yeah, true.
Dorothy Mantooth's a saint. She's a saint.
Yeah, what's it? Well, I'm just trying to think of the lines. I'm really bad at recalling lines, but
Where'd you get that? The toilet store?
yeah. Oh, I'm not
Where'd
even.
you get a grenade? I don't know.
Very quotable. But
So good.
Come
Nah,
star bitches. That's
Yeah,
it.
that's it,
what
that's
that's
the
what
one.
it comes out
That's
with.
the one.
yeah, it's all Saints footy.
Yeah,
at
that's
the
true.
end of the day,
You'd
isn't
form
it?
a super alliance.
Yeah, we haven't
surely.
actually had anyone on from Unplugged. I wouldn't mind
Yeah, a
Do a
bit of a
collab.
collab.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I met Nick at the women's AFLW the AFLW Best and Fairest.
Yep.
Yeah, lovely lads. Enjoy listening to their potty. Just I did notice. I sparked a little chat. None of the Unplugged boys got back to us, but they did their
Ghosted.
videos, and I had Alan Murray on the last episode, which was awesome.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
Loved him. But yeah, you got Parko. He's just sitting there. I think it's either Aston Villa or a West Ham top. Come on, mate. This is Saints potty. You got Nick over there and the Yankees. Like, so I
What
think
is this?
I think H was rocking Saints kit. So, but yeah. So my piece of advice to the Unplugger boys is like, lift your colours. Lift.
Oh, bit of a spray there from
Gauntlet
Marshy.
has been thrown down.
Oh boy. Chad's going the other way. He thinks this could be arguably our best win of the year. He said
Yeah.
it cannot be understated how much West Coast got up for this match above all
Yeah.
other games they've played in the last 3 years. Their attack and thirst for the contest was A grade, and we found a way to not only get back into the game, but snatch it.
Yeah.
Win of the year, I'm not sure. I mean, that'll be decided, I guess, around 23,
Yeah,
24.
No
that's
doubt.
right.
To
It could
see
be the
where-
catalyst.
Yeah.
It
Because
could
if
be
we
the catalyst.
if we make finals by one win, you go back to that game and you're like, geez, that's the one.
yeah.
Yeah,
could have dropped.
and historically, dare I say, that's a game we could have really dropped, and
Oh,
just sort of,
definitely.
the heads could have gone down, and it could have been it. Yeah, I think that's really great. That Chad is it? Is that his name?
That was Chad, the
Chad.
Chad.
The Chad.
Yep.
The Chad is great. No, so like that's to me like that's a Wednesday thought,
Yeah.
and I love that Chad is there on a Monday because because
He's
on a
gone
Monday
early.
I'm still like standing outside
a
screaming
Wednesday
into the
thought.
rain. But yeah, that's he's not wrong.
Nah.
Yeah.
On you, Chad. Yeah.
Oh, I think on that, that's a good one to end junk mail. So
Yeah.
thanks for everyone for submitting their questions and thoughts.
Love it.
As always, it's a pleasure reading them out.
Nice.
Now we jump into the big one.
Mm.
Saturday night against the D's, who are coming off a loss at Marvel.
Jeez. Like,
Yeah.
Fourth v fifth, believe it or not.
Big game.
And to people that say like it's an indictment on the top 8 that we're fifth, like a guy tweeted it yesterday, and I was like, that's the worst tweet I've ever read.
yeah.
We've won enough games
Yeah,
to be there, so
that's
jog
right.
on, you know.
You can only beat who's in front of you.
And
People
we're doing
hanging
that.
on our early wins and stuff, but the teams were a bit like Gold Coast have been a decent side at times this year. Beat
Essendon.
the Bombers. Yeah, that's it. Like
Doggies.
We beat the doggies.
Yeah.
So much else we can do.
that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big one, isn't it?
It's very big.
and another big opportunity for us, I think, to make a statement. It's in some ways, is it kind of like I think we're going to cop a bit of heat this week, and which could work to our advantage.
Yeah.
But the D's are going to cop it too, because
Yeah.
I got a lot of people questioning in the media this morning who is Melbourne.
Yeah.
the minute.
Yeah. They featured pretty heavily, I think, in the Monday means test with
Yeah.
Kingy. So that D's were front and center there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Classic
This
Kingy.
game, this game just has, it does have
They
Saints
they
footy
were
energies.
in
Yep.
trying conditions. It was a slog.
Yeah.
oh yeah, it was trash.
Obviously, we're coming back from Perth, but I think both teams.
Yeah.
There's
Yep.
excuses there
No doubt.
to be worried that there might be a bit of a lull in energy.
Mm.
Mm.
But we might get Zachy Jones back, who's got a bit of zip. I think we need that desperately.
I really want to see Jonesy. under-
Surely he gets
Yeah.
a gig.
Grant's and like we seem to be so flat-footed at the minute
Yeah.
that and I think that's why the Chad it wasn't the Chad, whoever suggested the Butler go into the
Sam.
guts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sam, sorry, was to inject a bit of speed there, but Jonesy, that's what he brings.
Yeah.
And I think he's one player that would really thrive under the boss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully he plays.
Would that be the only change? Do you think that we'd look to
There's a
make?
few.
Well,
Yeah.
someone
Actually,
will
there'll
come in
be.
for battle.
We're gonna
Yeah.
see. Yeah, so battle's out. Hilly and Seb are a test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, Burnsy you flagged as kind of
Yeah.
one that you'd probably give a spell.
Hmm.
So that's 2.
Yeah. Well, that's Billings and Jones, isn't it? But
That's
I
Billings
suppose
and Jones.
And then so
Back
they've
line.
got a big fort like Brown.
Yeah, so they've-
Van Ruin.
They've
whatever his
rested
name
him
is.
now, I think.
And Fritsch was injured
Who?
yesterday.
Van Ruin,
He's
but
he's
Fritsch was
rested
injured.
for this week.
Mm.
I believe so.
Okay,
I think they trusted Ben Brown more.
Yeah. Right.
so
for
that's
the
a
game.
Thursday thought on a Monday. So is he definitely rested this week?
Oh, I don't know about this week because Fritsch, I
Yeah,
think, is in
Fritsch
doubt,
won't
isn't
play.
he?
Yeah, I
He-
think he's hurt his foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
So that's a
nice.
big one for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
typically he seems to go all right against us.
Yeah.
Decent player.
Campbell, no chance. You reckon? You reckon that's
Oh,
a
he
pipe
could
dream?
be. Like you got the
He
Twin
could be.
Towers and
He
you
could
got
be.
the the big forwards.
Yeah.
Because Sharman, he was all right yesterday, Sharman, when he came on.
Yeah.
Not amazing, but he
But is
Role player.
but is he capable of actually sort of being a one-on-one defender?
Don't
I
know.
don't think so.
So I think maybe Cordy, this might be his
Yeah.
chance to show us what he's got as that, second or third tall defender.
Yeah.
Is Highmore in the talk?
I hope so.
He had another good day, 22 and 8 marks or so.
For like battle, that's a, I
It's
mean,
a straight swap
yeah,
almost,
it's
isn't
I'd
it?
think it would be. Like I think Battle perhaps does maybe a bit better on the one-on-ones,
No doubt.
but Highmore,
I'll see,
I really want to see Highmore back because he's one player that seems to plug and play. He gets thrown around a bit with Sandy and whatnot, and then when he actually comes in, I don't think he's really had that. He hasn't had a bad game.
Yeah.
No.
I don't think.
yeah.
He's
So
just
their forward line was Brown,
Yep.
Neil Bullen, Smith, Fritsch, Petrarca, Sparrow.
yeah.
And yeah, obviously Grundy and Gorn rest there
And
occasionally.
was
Did Pickett play?
Oh yeah.
Who?
Pickett.
Yeah, because I pick it.
Pickett, I think he's listed in the followers.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, but he
okay,
would have
yeah, yeah.
gone through there.
No,
for
okay,
sure.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a
Yeah.
pretty
And
explosive
yeah.
forward line. by the
They're,
sounds of it.
I think the big thing about Melbourne is their last 6 or 7 weeks, their average goals is like they're averaging like 8 and 9 goals a week.
Yeah.
Like they're struggling more than us to kick goals.
And they're missing a lot, aren't they? Are they?
Yes. So
So this is the week where they get 15-5, I reckon.
like how
You
many?
watch?
It was like they had plus 20 contested yesterday, plus 15 clearances, heaps more inside 50s, I think.
Yep.
They had 73 inside 50s yesterday to
73.
46.
Oh, my
To
God. darn.
46.
No wonder why. I had a cheeky look at the comments. Like, I don't know, it's bad. I shouldn't do it because it brings nothing but bad karma my way.
Yeah.
But I just can't help it. That just had a cheeky look at just to get a vibe check, and anyone would think that they're played our game but didn't have that second half. Like they were livid.
Yeah.
They only lost by what? Less
That was
than a
by
goal?
2
No,
points.
there's the kick. Yeah.
2
that's it.
points.
Well, everything plays into our strengths on Saturday night. It's at Marvel, which traditionally has been a pretty mixed hunting ground for Melbourne.
Mm.
Mhm.
Half of them at the snow at the minute. The joke has to be made. But yeah, again, what an opportunity for us to be able to regroup
Yeah.
and for the last 5-6 rounds of the season say, you don't want to play us in finals. We could cause you some headaches. So yeah, I'd like to see that on Saturday. That's what I'm hoping to see on
Well,
Saturday.
Mhm.
We've had a few games on the big stage at Marvel. Like we had the Port game, the Brizzy game, obviously.
Yep.
Those are 2 games where those could have been the statement games.
time.
Where you win one of them, you're like, oh, Saints are legit. We
Yeah.
dropped both, you
Mhm.
know? The Port game, we probably could have won.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Brisbane, we were outplayed for 4 quarters.
no doubt.
But this is the one where if you're serious,
Oh, the season's back on track.
it's
in a
back on
big
track. Because then you
way.
got Gold Coast away. And
Yeah.
it just and then I think Hawthorn North,
Yeah,
it opens up after this weekend. It's
No
so
doubt.
important.
Yeah.
For us to get the win.
There's a lot on the line, as there seems to be most weeks at this stage of the season. But yeah, really, I like DNA. That's a good way to put it. I just want us, irrespective of what the result is, but
100%.
just cracking in. Like that's when I love that frenetic pressure. That
Yep.
this, you can see the first 5 minutes the boys are switched on.
yeah,
They're on today. So I think, if we can bring that, Melbourne don't like that.
No.
They don't like when teams go after them. We didn't go after West Coast in that first half, and then when we sort of went back to our core, process and just ran them down and just went in waves. The tide turned, and I think if we can do that to Melbourne, rock them early, because we know their supporters aren't going to turn up, and the ones that we do on our end, we know we're loud. So if we
Yeah.
can we haven't capitalised on a home ground advantage in a long time, in my opinion.
yeah,
Yeah.
So I think this is a really good one to be able to make Melbourne feel uncomfortable about being in Melbourne.
yeah.
the-
Good one. Yeah,
Yeah, they're not like they've lost 4 of their last 6. So let's just it'd
that
be good
right?
to I guess make the most of a team that's not in red hot form.
no,
You know? I mean, they've got some very good players. Their biggest strength is our biggest weakness in
The guts.
the guts, obviously. They've got just one of the best midfields going around. Contested midfields, I would say. I think on the outside, if Hilly gets up for it, I think is really important
oh yeah,
because, having him and Jonesy together,
Yeah.
that zip, that speed. We need that more than anything.
I think you will.
Um,
In fact, Hilly came on, played the last
yeah,
5
so
minutes of the
it
game
should be
yesterday, so it should
fine.
be. Yeah,
I think it's a massive game.
big time.
And if we win, we're fourth. So,
Happy days.
and
Imagine
come on,
that.
Sainers,
Yeah.
get to the
Imagine
game.
that.
We've got to get to the game.
That's it.
Yeah, I
Saturday
know.
night
Saturday
footy. Let's
night
go.
footy,
Yeah.
top 5 clash. Like you're not gonna. We haven't had them often.
That's it.
At round 17.
Yeah,
You know?
I'm spewing because like the one time, like we've got a wedding on.
Oh,
this
yeah, that's
No.
right. You're not gonna be there, are you?
Nah, and like if it had been during the day or just on a Sunday 4:40, like
Yep.
yeah, so I don't know, just the way the cookie crumbles. But I know the train lines are down. There's a lot of excuses people can make that just getting to the footy is too hard, but just find a way, carpool.
No
Like, I
doubt.
don't
That's it.
know,
Yep.
just find some mates and just go to the footy, like
It's under
because
the
I'll-
lid. It's
I'll
under
pick
the
you up.
roof.
it's under
Just-
the lid.
Yeah.
Exactly
Just
right.
damn,
it.
I'll pick you up. There's some room in the
Yeah,
back
you go.
there.
Jakey boy's gonna be. You can sit in the car afterwards,
Oh, no.
do the review.
I'll make everyone wait outside the car. But yeah, big game. Disappointing performance yesterday, but we got the chocolates, and that's all that matters really at this point in the year. Notch
Yeah.
up the 4 points, move on.
And like it was kind of nice because let's be honest, if it had have been just a 30, 40, 50 point win, it would have just felt like nothing. It would
Yep.
have been like, okay,
Yep.
we've come here, we've done that. At least Saints footy, they gave us some value for money. It
No
was
doubt.
it was entertaining.
Well,
And
papers
then
over
at
the
the end of
cracks.
it, it was such an experience. Like it was a nail biter, and you just like it shouldn't be, but it was. And just the sweet relief, like fine, we've got away with one
Yeah.
here, and we've got Melbourne coming up that we could go fourth.
Big
Yeah.
game, Sainers. So get there. We'll be there. Well, I'll be there. You'll
I'll
be
be
there,
there.
Sarah. And Marshy, he'll be there in spirit in aisle
I'll be
29.
I'll be on the dance floor. So yeah, no,
Yeah.
there'll be plenty in aisle 29. Making some noise.
Yeah.
But
Well, it's the first time in 2 weeks we're going to be able to end the show on with a joke, I believe. Would you like to have the honours, or Sarah?
before
would
we
you like-
do, before we do,
Oh, do you have a
before we
minute?
I've got a minute. Yeah,
You got a
yeah,
minute,
I've got a cheeky
alright.
minute
Yep.
because it's very timely because got Sarah on the program with us today, and may I add that you did an excellent job. I think Joycey is in trouble of
Oh.
his position,
Yes.
so I think you might have to toilet Sandy for a little bit. But Sarah will be joining myself and Nat Exxon with the Talking Saints FCW. That's
Brilliant.
Great.
super exciting. So I actually bumped into Exie when we were down at the DFC the other week, and she's pumped. She's keen. She reckons that this is the most sort of up and about pre-season they've had. The girls are just rocked up, really switched on, and just loving it at the minute. So yeah, Exie's keen to get an episode and the coming weeks, just a bit of a touch base about the pre-season, and then yeah, we'll be launching into it regularly throughout the women's season whenever that starts. We still
Yeah.
don't know.
Mm.
Pretty shit form by the AFL.
September-ish.
September-ish,
is the gist they're getting. Yeah.
The ish, the fishta. So, but yeah, no, I was super excited to have Sarah spearheading the women's program with us.
I'm wrapped to be on board. I'm really passionate about the women's program. Like it's just from a young-ish woman's perspective now, to be able to to see a national professional, semi-professional competition is just it's really exciting. And you look at the coverage that the Saints media has been giving the girls their pre-season. They look like a cohesive, really bonded together group. Obviously,
Yeah.
a lot of energy's gone into that. So, no, I'm looking forward to being a part of it.
Brilliant. Well, we're happy
Awesome.
to have you.
Can't wait.
Sweet.
On that note, Marshy, would you like to kick us off with a bit of a joke, mate? You're the funny one here.
Yeah. What have I got? Oh, maybe a bit of a knock knock, Sarah.
Who's there, Marshy?
It's Owen.
Oh, and who?
Oh, and who?
Go marching in. Oh, when the Saints go marching in. Oh, how I want to be a Secura. Oh, when the Saints go marching in. Oh, when the Saints. Oh, when the Saints go marching in. Go marching in. Oh, when the Saints go marching in. Oh, how I want to be a Secura.